As speaker's role for today is given to Viktorija Trimbel, who is the new managing director of CoInvest Capital, and she says she's here hunting unicorns and breeding angels. Viktorija has 30 years of outstanding track record in M&A and fundraising advisory, corporate and strategic governance for local and international clients, as well as the public sector, has made startup investments and learned lessons herself. Listed among top 100 women in tech in Europe 2012, recipient of Euromoney Awards for Excellence 2005, nominee for Global Lithuanian Leaders Awards 2020. Rotarian for over 20 years, Paul Harris Fellow, recipient of the National Rotary Award, the first Lithuanian woman governor of the District 1462, Lithuania during the history of 85 years. Founder and past president of Financial Analysts Association. Viktorija is a curious explorer of new ideas, experiences, loves photography, travel, visual arts, and dances, as well as snowboarding, horseback riding, and driving fast cars. She's fascinated by the power of flux networks, collective and artificial intelligence, biohacking, and the future ahead. Viktorija is going to tell you about the CoInvest Capital relaunched, renewed team and strategy, values, priorities, and tactics, and what steps we could expect next. Please give a warm round of applause to Viktorija Trimbel.
Hello, everyone. I'll try to fly over my slides. And today I'll tell you very, very briefly about myself if you don't know me yet. Today is 90 days exactly I'm in this new position. And there should be Viktorija in the room. So if you want to succeed with CoInvest, you have to be victorious. You had Viktorija before, you have another Viktorija now. Then I'll share 3 lessons learned. And from my experience with startups, personal experience, and then we'll speak about CoInvest. It's 3 values, 3 focus areas, and 3 strategic priorities. I was born with a smile. They say people don't smile at that age, but I say that I can solve any challenge with laughing. And I'm not Mona Lisa, we'll speak about that today, but a smile is a part of my identity. This is very briefly my CV, universities I attended. On the left, you see something which I was trained for several years. And these are my current hobbies. As you can see, I love those kind of things, but not to bring adrenaline up, but in fact to release. So as Matas already said, I introduce myself as a curious explorer of new ideas and experiences. And if you don't know me by now, you will never, never know me, but you can read on LinkedIn. And you can also scan a code and read our website and learn more about CoInvest. And we will be updating our website also shortly. So the 3 lessons. These are my first 3 minutes. I guess like everybody was playing with ChatGPT and other tools back in December. So it was already just before the Christmas, I learned that Viktorija is leaving and I wanted to have a picture of, business angels. So the first one is really horrible, horrendous and hilarious. But it took me 3 years, it just took me 3 minutes to play with ChatGPT. And I got that one. It's not perfect, but it's done. So the first lesson learned, and some lessons I repeated. You have to keep learning, you have to keep innovating, but it's always better done than perfect. So MVPs, as all the startups know, is something that you should really focus. This is my first 6-digit personal investment into startup. We've got Design Award very quickly. We had a very nice product specifically designed for the Asian market because you could assemble that chair or table or cat house or whatever without any nails in a couple, minutes or even seconds. And we received design awards. We were extremely successful in Japanese market where everyone is saying it's impossible. You need to have 5 years until you get through something. It took us 1 year, and then we got blinded by success because Japanese clients came and they wanted to have orders like a container per month. I don't know, is it big or not, but Lithuania, the furniture-making country, couldn't have a single factory who would produce that quantities to us. And I even had to remember that my actual university studies was called production management, even though when I entered it, I thought that I will be producer. And after the third year, I started working in the best investment bank as the first employee 2 weeks before Gabi was born. So I was very, very pregnant in a male-dominated industry. And 30 years ago, I had computer at home and hybrid work environment. So the lesson learned here, I don't make mistakes. Sometimes my lessons are expensive. But when you're a pivot tech, you have to retain your focus and really don't get blinded by success. So one of our lessons, we were so happy that we are so successful and so quick in Japanese market that we forgot our original idea. And then there were other, objective and subjective circumstances. This story is quite fresh. It would not have started if my brother wouldn't listen to what his wife is talking at the dinner table. It was 17th of March 2020, the very peak of the pandemic. Mass graves were being digged in Manhattan, and the Bergamo Cathedral was filled with coffins, and army trucks were going all around Italy trying to collect dead bodies and find an empty place in crematorium. So we had a dinner, we talked. Ulrika mentioned that there is this technology, helmet-based ventilation, which is non-invasive, and nobody knows about it. My brother, being an entrepreneur, said, let's make it known. That night we talked, we bought a domain name. In the morning, it was 6 a.m., I was waking up, we were about to go to bed. They told me, when we slept, myself and my daughters built the first website, and in 57 days we consulted NASA and Virgin Galactic. If somebody would have told me that 3 years ago, I thought, are you high? And then it took us a bit more to incorporate. I won't go into details, but non-invasive ventilation can really save lives, because if you need traditional ventilation, it's 80% of chance that you are dying. This is how it looks. So if a person is still not very bad, it's the first step, so you could move. These helmets, by the way, were also delivered to Lithuania, 250. We secured them, and it's also safe for the patients because the virus doesn't go around, and you can plug that thing to any hospital wall anywhere in the world. That was the time. This is the largest, and in fact, the only factory of helmet-based ventilation in all United States. And there is Blue Ocean PR ladies here in the room. They helped us a lot to really get on the top A-list media like NBC, and that's how our experience flew. So yeah, this is a mom and pop shop. Ceylon, that's the largest and the only factory in the US. What we did, we connected a lot of inventors, investors, hospital decision makers. Marek, he's not with us anymore. He passed away last year. He is Polish. His daughter worked in New York. He saw on the news our story, and she contacted us. So Marek, he had a 4-level chemotherapy, leukemia, and in between of chemotherapies, he was inventing a helmet for the Polish market because export of medical goods was seized. So this was his hobby, pastime in between of chemotherapy. Michael Lombardi, that's another very interesting story because he is in fact a professional underwater diver. So he immediately understood the concept, and he designed this helmet, which I've shown before, which was also delivered to Lithuanian states. And I remember one funny story. My brother and were calling me and saying, oh gosh, Michael just called us, crying, thanking, because the wife of Mike Pence helped him to receive expedite FDA approval. And those who try to get FDA approval in US, you know very well what it means. It took me 15 minutes to understand who Mike Pence is, so I won't keep you 15 minutes. This is Vice President of the United States. And it wasn't us calling him, but the power of Lux Networks, the power of our connections. We knew someone, they knew someone, got him FDA approval in, I guess, 2 months or so. So networks do matter, and sometimes you only need to ask. The worst thing can happen, you can hear no. But as I said, in 57 days, NASA people called because they wanted the Virgin Galactic to produce ventilators. So Ulrika, my sister-in-law, consulted them about this methodology because we thought it might be efficient. It could open up a bottleneck. Lesson learned here, just do it. So you just simply have to hack a crisis and complaints. There are 2 ways of doing business. You either invent something and you teach the market that the market needs it. Usually it's very expensive. Or you hear what is the pain point. So you need to hear, then you need to act, then you need to connect. You are not a lone ranger, as somebody just told. I forgot who, I'm sorry. And of course, you have to know what you are doing, especially when you work with the emergency rooms. And this slide, for me, this is the essence of entrepreneurship. Even though, even more, I would say, mompreneurship. And I know that in CoInvest Capital, in our investment agreements, we have some special clauses for maternity leave, and some women owners kind of complain me a little bit about it. So I can't promise you the change because there is a logic behind why we have what we have, but what I can promise to you, I will look into that. So mompreneurs, women founders, they know how to do many things at once. Now let's move to CoInvest. What's new and what stays the same? This is how we see our ecosystem. So we place ourselves somewhat early. Our largest ticket could be 1.6 million. It depends on a lot of conditions, the novelty of the company and the age of the company. And we put contrarian ventures inside because they are accredited with us as a private angel because we are run on private money. And as you know, in our ecosystem, not only in Lithuania, but also in other states, most of the funds, we have lesser or larger degree of the public funds. And us, we are fully owned by Invega. The shareholders are sitting here on the first row. And we are here on a mission to breed angels and make the wings larger so that we could fly. We are evergreen. What it means that we don't have time pressure to take decisions. We can take business decisions when we think they are needed. We have above 25 million under management, and 15 million of that is dry powder, a bit a military term, but it's not a white powder, as I was asked at one of the conferences. No, it's dry powder. This is the amount of money we can invest. At the moment, we have 27 portfolio companies. Many of them are here with us in this room. Currently, we are quite ahead with one new deal building. Investors are in this room. Talk to them. I know that there are some conversations going on. That would be my first deal from the scratch, I hope. And about 4 are in a kind of advanced stage. And we have 163 accredited angel investors, and 102 of them already made investments with us. Our first so far landmark exit, we are extremely lucky to have it, and at the same time, I think we have a risk here also to get blinded with the success. So, Litban guys, Gitanis, Justinas, Interactio is a true success, but angels must understand what they are doing. What happened with Interactio? We exited the former team led by another Viktorija in 1.5 years. They were very lucky because of the COVID. The next round was 30 million. We invested roughly 1 million. And if we would have invested with angels on equal terms, everyone would make 9 times. But because we only keep 6% and we give all the profits to the angels, angels made 34 times. So 100,000 became 3.4 million. Of course, this is a success story, but this is 1 out of 28. So I love it. When we make the decisions, we believe that we will have more like this, but it's a risky business we are in. So this is maybe a bit new, at least the way we phrase it in a new way. The 3 C's of CoInvest Capital is that we do care about our startups and about our angels. We are curious, so we will not become, artificial intelligence programmers, but we really want to understand and get interested in all the new things, and we will stay competent. So although we are on the mission, our decisions will be competent, we will be professional, and we will share this knowledge with you as well. Strategic positioning. You all know the 3 F's: family, friends, and fools. So we are slightly moving the signs between those F's, and we want to be fast and founder-friendly. Now, what it means. Fast, this slide is not drawn by me. I found it in the decks of CoInvest Capital, and then I've heard stories from the ecosystem that we are not that fast. So what we are doing, we are changing some of our internal processes, and we will try to be that fast. Of course, there should be an utter risk here that every stage we will count from the moment we get all the information that we need for decision making. But in order for the process to be more smooth, we will make it public what kind of information we know. So this is our ambition, and I hope that you will help us to succeed here, cooperating with us. What it means, founder-friendly, it's tough love. So with all due respect to accelerators and hackathons and competitions at various events, that is like playing with ponies. Everyone is patting you on the shoulder, you know, there are rainbows all over the place. But when you come to us, we are already a fund. Our contracts are more tough. So we really teach those little ponies how to jump over the barriers. And those talented ones will become unicorns one day, we hope, but we train them. So this is tough love. This is what we mean by founder-friendly. Our ideal qualifying startup to get our investment remains the same. In the ideal case, we would like to have 3 founders with complementary skill set, and most of the cases that would be technical, sales, and financial backgrounds. We need by our mandate to have at least 3 business angels who will co-invest with us their own money. And we always look for the startup to be future-proof, to be able to beat competition, and that we all will find a way to exit from that scenario, from that investment. Now, there are a couple important changes in our investment agreement. We have signed those changes on March 7, and they come in basically 2 areas. First of all, we will be able to cover so-called the market gap or death valley. This is the stage where the startup is not big enough yet to attract funds from larger funds or foreign markets, but the startup deserves to live, deserves to get some oxygen. So at that stage, if we will identify a market gap, we could invest with other funds. And in this time, we would invest pari passu, meaning that we will not share our profits. We will invest at equal terms with other funds. So this is one kind of big change, a big step that was initiated by my predecessor, Viktorija, and we finally signed it on March 7. The other thing is we've got 2 new areas which were previously forbidden for VCs. So I'll start with one which I like. I don't know yet a startup who can do human cloning in life sciences, but I badly need mini-me, copy-me, biggie-me, at least 3 clones, then I might be able to make a few of my ideas happen. But in addition to that, we are fully authorized to invest in defense. And while we all are anticipating Miltech Fund or Scalewall or Outpost Ventures, however they will eventually call themselves, to be fully authorized, we can already invest. We are looking already at one deal. We have already business angels accredited with us who have military background, and we need them more. We need, as you know, 3. So, yeah, we are looking into that. This is a market gap, an opportunity which Ukraine has taught everyone why we need to get ready so that no one attacks us. And we have a certain dedicated funds for green tech or climatech. And again, what remains the same, we want startups that are able to scale and that are innovative. Our strategic priorities. So we want to make our system and our angel community more international. And we really want you to feel victorious and be able to conquer the world with your brains. We will be targeting more international angels to co-invest with us so that it would enable a better access to foreign markets to our startups. We are calling ourselves a silent investor because we're giving all voting rights to a lead angel, but we will be respected and knowledgeable voice in the ecosystem, sharing our know-how, sharing our lessons learned, because we are on a mission. And then, as I mentioned, we are smoothing our internal processes so that we can all enjoy the lightness of being. This is our non-executive investment committee. We have booked them every Wednesday for 1 o'clock. Sometimes we have them for that hour, sometimes we don't. But yeah, Andrius is here with us today. Giedrius is traveling. Edvinas was supposed to be, but I haven't seen him yet. And then our... Oh, here you are. Hello, Edvinas. It's dark. I couldn't see you. You should come closer. You should sit next to Andrius. And this is our full-time executive team. So myself, Matas, you saw him, and Paulius, also somewhere in the dark. But you definitely met Paulius when you entered. Yet, Paulius is leaving us in 2 weeks. So I'm looking for 2 good people, one junior, one senior. Send us someone you know. Send the best people with the right mindset. If we don't have skill yet, we can train. And we are all in this together. So we are starting this event with the aim to build community, to allow you to network after we run to the final phase, the auction, which will be one of a kind. You will not regret it. And I hope that you will be generous. But we are all in this together. So if we want our startups to succeed, we all have to chip in. Thank you, and you know where to find us.